pace, pace. It's a word that most handicappers use, that all handicappers are aware of, but most handicappers really don't have a clue to actually what pace is. Most handicappers probably envision the fractional times that are listed in the daily racing form, or they envision a couple horses vying for the lead and burning each other out, another horse coming from off the pace. But in reality, pace is much, much, much more encompasses so many different angles that can be used at the track, and probably 98% of the players out there don't have a clue of how to actually figure pace or total pace. Our new software, the Rush, takes an approach that we've never seen before. And again, we've been in this business for years and years, and every once in a while someone will come out with something that kind of just blows our minds because it's so darned different. This one is from Tyler Hubert, and again, it's called the Rush. And what he does is he found a way to measure bursts of speed or sustained moves. Again, doing it differently than we've seen done before. It's more than just turn time. Um, it has more to do with a horse that, and again, this can be at any point in the race, that shows a quick burst or shows a sustained move, and then maybe that move ends or the horse slows down. But it's significant in the fact that most, like as Tyler tells us, in most races, the winners between about 5.5 furlongs and 9 furlongs. After 9 furlongs, pace becomes almost irrelevant. But most horses between those distances, winners between those distances, have shown these bursts of speed or sustained moves in a fairly recent race. What Tyler does is he actually takes the differences between at different points, and then he incorporates beaten lengths in there as well. So he not only rates the pace of the race, but also the pace of each individual horse, and he combines these into point count factors that add up to the horses or the contenders, the likeliest winners in each race. And as Tyler tells us here, the bursts often aren't done just by the horse. It's often trainer design who's telling the jock, get the horse out quickly. If he fades, fine. He'll be better off next time. He'll have more sustainability next time. Or don't ride him too hard in the stretch. Give him a burst of speed, and then don't ride him too high in the stretch, too hard in the stretch, et cetera, et cetera. So in other words, while it's not always the case, often trainers instruct their riders, especially when they're setting a horse up, instruct their riders to provide the horse with some speed. Usually, like I said, it's a sustained burst of speed that can last for a full quarter of the race. And again, most of these will have occurred in the last 2 races, most of these moves, and most of these horses are live when they come back in 25 days or so. Like Tom Console says too, he evaluated the Rush, and basically he says pace, the term pace makes the race. It's a great saying, but it's only a saying if you don't know how to measure certain aspects of pace. And again, there's all kinds of different ways to judge total pace, feet per second, et cetera, et cetera. But what Tyler has done here is really different in that he's combined a number of pace components and scenarios, and found a way actually to evaluate each one with a numerical rating. And it's turned out to be very, very accurate. The horses that win are often decent prices, although you don't want to avoid betting a favorite, because when you get a favorite with this software, and it's got a decent point spread, it's a very, very high percentage on the board prospect. So what we've done here with the software, at least, if you want to take a look, is we've incorporated, it's actually, because there's so much that's gone into the software, it actually incorporates two screens. This one particular one here on Derby Day with Sir Alfred James, we show all the fractions, the beaten lengths, the bursts, and how the bursts were rated. What we call the B3 or B2, B3 difference. That's between the second call, third call, last call, et cetera, et cetera. And that has to do with a turn time with a little twist that Tyler put into it. But basically, there's a ton of information on these two screens. You don't have to even bother looking at it if you don't want to, but all the information is there for you, and it just shows you the sophistication of this program. And what we found is that horses that have, again, you'll notice that there's point counts in the different columns, and then the point counts all go into the total column, and the top total horse is the horse that's the likeliest contender. And also when they have a point spread, in this case on a spree had a 5-point point spread, that makes the horse a very, very high percentage on the board prospect, and usually at a win rate in the 36 to 38% range at most tracks. Here on a spree did win. Again, this was on Kentucky Derby Day, paid $760 to win. Also, another nice thing that the software does is it provides its own value line. In other words, back up here on Sir Alfred, the value line, on the morning line was 5-1, but the value line, which the program computes by taking into account dozens and dozens and dozens of factors that the morning line maker obviously can't. And the value line made Sir Alfred James 4-5. So this is a 4-5 prospect, and then he's 8-1 on the board. So that's a very, very valuable tool. That this a lot of our software has value lines, so this is probably overall the most accurate. When it's a big bet down, like here, boardroom 2-1, then the line, so that should be 3-5. Again, that horse will win or hit the board, at least hit the board close to 80% of the time, at least with a show. And so what you're basically doing here is he's analyzing every pace call for every horse by numerically calculating bursts of speed, sustained moves, and last fraction anomalies. Again, a last fraction includes beaten lengths, as well as a turn time from the half to the last fraction. So that's all included. Again, it's all listed on the screen, but because the program is doing all the work, you don't have to worry about looking at all that stuff. Again, compares race times, individual times to the par times from today's distance at today's track. So it's actually giving credit to horses who have been running faster than par and penalizing horses that are slower. There's also a jockey trainer performance analysis that goes into the overall calculations, both individual and as teams, and a class rating that's a very interesting class rating that Tyler came up with, and it often provides the edge. The class rating provides the edge for the bigger priced horses, the long shot horses that come up. And again, it creates its own value line, which we have found again to be, we had a great value line on Superstars, which we thought was probably the best we've ever had. But this one we think is even better than that. When it shows a horse, say, again, 4-1, 5-1 on the morning line, but the value line says it should be even money, 3-5, 6-5, then that horse is a very, very good prospect from an overlay standpoint. And again, it's very, very reasonably priced. The software runs $118. Hard copy ebook also available. And again, remember, if you want, you can give us a call, and we have a 3-payment no interest plan for any order over $100 and 2 payments for under that amount. So that's the Rush. And again, give us a call if you have any questions whatsoever. Thanks so much for listening.